Drivers in British Columbia now have a new incentive to go green. Thanks to the new EV OK decal program, motorists that drive electric or plug-in hybrid vehicles such as the Chevrolet Volt, Nissan Leaf, or Tesla Model S can now drive in the HOV or high occupancy vehicle lane without meeting the minimum passenger requirements on selected roads. Join me as I blast past rush hour traffic through the George Massey Tunnel at 4 p.m. on a weekday. As you can see, the traffic is completely backed up as we approach the George Massey Tunnel at just after 4 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. Now, every day the traffic is like this because at this time of the day, the tunnel is only open to one lane northbound. There are 3 lanes southbound, so the counterflow lane is in full force at this point of time today. Now, the average wait time for somebody going northbound at this time of day is typically between 20 and 25 minutes, unless you're able to access the HOV lane, such as I am here. Now, normally the HOV lane is only available to buses and vehicles that have got 2 or more people in them. But under the new program, drivers of electric vehicles receive a decal. You put the decal on the back of your car, and it basically gives you access to the front of the line. So with all these cars back here, they've been sitting in that line for probably 15-20 minutes, and we're moving right to the front of the line, and we'll be through the tunnel in a matter of the next couple of minutes. It's going to reduce my idle time or my sitting in line time from 15 to 20 minutes down to less than 3.
Yeah, lady, great place to pull over to make a phone call. Whether she's broken down or not, or just stopped at the side of the road to use her phone. Oh, it looks like she's moving now. Believe it or not, she stopped. She's now pulled back in. She pulled off the road to make a phone call. Hello, how stupid. She's now in behind me. Unbelievable. So here we are at the George Massey Tunnel, and as you can see, the counterflow lane is in place. That's why the big tie-up going into town in the afternoon, because the reversal lane is going out. There's 3 lanes going out and 1 lane going in. So in the morning, there's 3 lanes going in and 1 lane coming back. So the tie-up, the big single lane tie-up, is coming out of Richmond in the morning rush hour, and in the evening rush hour it's going in. And that's why I got that decal, because even though I don't normally have to go through this traffic jam, and I try to avoid it, at least now, if I decide I want to go into Richmond after work, for example, if I need to go to Vancouver or something after work, I can now just breeze through. I don't have to take somebody with me, and I don't have to take my motorcycle, because there's times where I just don't want to ride it. And rush hour traffic is one of those times where I really don't want to ride a motorcycle. I love riding my motorcycle. I think it's a blast. I enjoy it. I have a Harley Davidson. I love riding the thing. But there are times where, and this is one of them, where it's not safe because of all the traffic. And I try to avoid traffic because I don't want to get run over. So this will make my life a lot easier when I do need to go into Richmond, like I did today. And on my return trip, we'll get to use the HOV lane all the way back, at least as far as where the HOV lane ends, which is just up here. But as you can see, there's a big lineup of cars here, and I'll be able to breeze my way through. So for somebody living in the Vancouver, BC area now with this new program that allows single drivers to drive in the high occupancy vehicle lanes, if you're driving an electric car, might be an incentive for some people to actually go out and get one because they're pretty nice to drive. Definitely pretty nice to drive. Look at that traffic. Look at that big line of cars going the other way. And when I get done with what I'm doing, I'm going to be turning around and I'm going to be going back through that big line of traffic all the way back. But will I have to wait? No, I won't. I'll be able to just do it. I mean, it's ugly. It is absolutely. Look at how long this traffic line is. This is like 4 kilometers long at this point. I'm back to Westminster Highway. It's absolutely ridiculous. And people fight this every single day. People fight this traffic in the morning to go to work. And people fight this traffic in the afternoon to come home. Every day. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Now we talked about, they're putting a new bridge in, as I mentioned before I went through the tunnel. I mentioned that they're going to put in a new bridge, and they think that's going to solve all the problems. Well, all it's going to do is this lineup of traffic. There's another bridge ahead of me here, which I'm not going to cross over, but there is another bridge ahead of me here. All they're going to do is they're going to push that line up. It'll get over the other new bridge, so it's going to be a 4-lane bridge, no problem. But there's a 2-lane bridge up ahead, so all it's going to do is it's going to move all the traffic just up to the next bridge. So really, they're not solving anything at all by building this new bridge, in my opinion. They're doing it to satisfy the Port of Vancouver so they can get bigger ships up the river, because right now it's a tunnel and the depth of the river has been reduced because of the tunnel. If they remove the tunnel, they can dredge the river down deeper, and then larger ships can get up the river. But that's the main reason they're doing it, because all it's going to do is it's just going to shift all that traffic to this next bridge. And you can see how far the traffic is just starting to thin out now. So, I mean, it's not going to do anything at all to solve the rush hour in the morning and to solve the rush hour in the afternoon. It's just going to move it. It's going to move it up here. That's all it's going to do, because they're not replacing this bridge with a 4-lane bridge or an 8-lane bridge. This one's staying the same. Now I get to go where I'm going, and then I get to go back and do it all over again. So here we are again. We're now getting into the rush hour traffic to get onto Highway 99 southbound this time. Now remember, we will have 3 lanes this time through the tunnel. But they're still going to be backed up. And this tunnel is backed up like this every single day. So I'm now on Westminster Highway, and we're all driving in the bicycle lane now just to get off the road to let other people go by. This is going to take us on the Highway 99, and as soon as I get onto Highway 99, I will be able to get into that HOV and bus lane, which will take me all the way up almost to the George Massey Tunnel, and then we can blast through the tunnel and make our way home, and do this in record time, because normally if you're driving there at this time in the afternoon, well, it's just absolutely insane. If you're by yourself in the car, you're sitting there wasting valuable time and wasting gas. That's if you're driving a gas car. But even electric cars, up to this point, we had to sit in that traffic. And if you're driving an electric car, the one thing you don't want to be doing is sitting in traffic, because you're using your battery for things like your air conditioning or your heat. And if you're not moving, well, you're wasting your battery. You're wasting distance, miles, kilowatts, not moving anywhere. So the reason I'm stuck in this traffic right now is because most of these cars have to merge into the regular lane. Once I get past this little bottleneck here on the merging lane, I'll be able to get into the HOV lane, and then I'll be able to blast through all these cars, all this traffic, and give them all the middle finger as they go by, right? Because I'm sure they're sitting there fuming in traffic, and they're going to see me blasting by with just one person in the car and be fuming, and then I go by and they see my little decal on the back, and you bastard. So here's where we're able to get into the HOV lane, and say normally this is restricted to people that have got two people in the vehicle, and well, people that are in electric cars can be here by themselves, like me now. You still get people jostling for this lane. Anybody who's carpooling or so forth. There's our sign, decal required. Now, of course, the traffic's isn't nearly as backed up right now. It's died down a bit since I went in. It's an hour later. It's now almost 5 o'clock. So the traffic has backed down a bit from its peak at 4 o'clock when I went in, but it's still relatively backed up. But again, we're able to pass all these other cars, and they do have 3 lanes open, so the traffic does move a little quicker when you've got 3 lanes as opposed to only 1 lane. So the traffic still does move faster in the afternoon when you've got the 3rd lane open. But still, I'm able to go past all these other cars. As you can see, they're all just sitting there. They're moving around. We're cruising along here at about 85 kilometers an hour, and the other traffic's moving maybe 30, if that, if they're lucky. So we're able to make good time all the way right up to the front of the line, and then at that point just jump right in and go through, and then I'll show you what the traffic's like for the other people that are lined up in those single lane, because those are the people that really benefit going into town at this time of the day, or coming out of town in the morning. Those are the people that really will benefit from having one of these decals on their car. Gotta love people that cut it over early. It's like nothing like taking it right to the end of the line and merging in. Just slow down and cut over early, right? And I'm going to sneak in here because I want to get into the 3rd lane, and just coming up here in a bit. I could have gone a little further down that lane, but I'll get into the reversal lane here as well and show you what the reversal side is like, because it looks kind of different when you're in the reversal lane. So here we are, we're entering the George Massey Tunnel southbound, this time in the counterflow lane. As I said before, starting next year in 2017, they're going to start to construct a new bridge, which should take about 4 to 5 years, I would think, to complete. And then we'll have a nice shiny new 8-lane bridge that we'll have to pay every time we want to cross it. Just the way things are going to be, right? It's going to be a toll bridge. I don't think too many of us like that idea. It won't particularly affect me personally because I live on the south side of the river. I work on the south side of the river, and for me, there's not really any reason to go across the river unless I need to go to a shop or something that's located on the north side. So for me, it won't really affect my commuting to and from work. But so once that bridge comes into effect, I think it's probably pretty unlikely that I will be using it, except for occasionally. But for the people that have to go to work and back every single day, yeah, it's going to be costing them substantial amounts of money to do it at $3.50 each way every day. That's going to be about $7 a day, just $7 a day added to their cost of their commute. So here's the lineup coming the other way, and as you can see, we're going to drive the freeway here so you can see how long this lineup is. So for people that have got this decal, they will bypass all of this line, come in the other direction. And it does get to be, at this time of day, this is probably the worst time for going the other direction. I mean, this line is going to go for miles. Today it's actually not too bad because most people try to avoid, but that's still probably 20 minutes. That line up there, that's a good 15 to 20 minutes minimum, because I've sat in it from about that area there, that